Here's question 17 from the sample final. It's also from section 6.2. Public Health Organization reports that 15% of baby boys 6 to 8 months in the United States weigh more than 20 pounds. A sample of 14 babies is studied. This one does not use the binomial PDF or CDF functions, even though it's in the section that usually asks for those. And what you're looking for here is it says what's the mean number. It's not saying what's the probability of anything. And part two is what's the standard deviation. So for both of those, there's a pretty straightforward equation to use for those. If you, for part A, when it asks for the mean number, it's going to be n, which is your sample size, times p, which is the probability, and that's given as a percent, and we'll need to make it into a decimal. So n in this case is the sample size, 14, times p, which is the probability, and that's 15%, but we need to have it as a decimal, so 15 divided by 100, and you can do all that on the same line in the calculator, and you'd get 2.1. It wants it to 2 decimal places, so you can either enter 2.1 or 2.10. Both of them work in that case. For the standard deviation of the number who weigh more than 20 pounds in a sample of 14 babies, you've got another equation here. So first you want the square root, which is second, and then the x squared button to give you the square root, and then start parentheses and n, so n is still 14, times p, and I'm going to do 0.15 for p, which is what 15 divided by 100 would get me, and then a new set of parentheses, 1 minus p, 1 minus 0.15, then close both sets of parentheses and enter. So you can do that all on one line like that. And in both of these, since they're not asking for probabilities, your number does not have to be a 0 point anything. It can be pretty much any number. This it wants out to 4 decimal places, so it's going to be 1.3360. And those are only 2 parts of those. It just uses these 2 equations here, no special calculator function buttons.